What up everyone, Clayton here, and today we're here with another Skyrim build. Today's build is a little bit special, I guess you could say. I'm redoing my True Nord build. I had the first version of the True Nord build released on this date a year ago, and that build kind of got some flack for being a True Nord who uses magic, and a lot of people don't really like that for whatever reason, and I get a lot of comments even to today anyways, about comments like say, oh, it's not a True Nord because you use magic. So I decided, hey, why the hell not? Let's go ahead and try to make a kind of redo it. So that's what I'm doing here today. So today's build is the True Nord. The race is Nord, obviously, and kind of the backstory I kind of have with it is that he is kind of a war veteran of the Great War, and when he came back home, he kind of wanted to stay away from people. He felt disappointed in himself for what he did, for all the people he killed during the war, and you know they still lost, and his people, the Nords, and can't worship Talos anymore, and he was very disappointed in himself for everything that happened. So he decided when he came back to Skyrim that he was just gonna live in the forest by himself and kind of just live in peace by himself. One day when he was out foraging, getting some food, hunting and stuff like that, he ran into an Imperial ambush, and he was taken in as a Stormcloak because they thought he was a Stormcloak because Jarl Ulfric was there. So that's kind of the background, and if you guys want to change it, go ahead and change it to anything you really want. That's just kind of one I like to use and kind of roleplay it as like a disgruntled war veteran. So let's go ahead and head into the perks and the skill trees that you'll be using for this build. I took a lot of feedback from you guys in the comments about how, oh, the Nords don't use magic kind of thing, and I kind of changed it to kind of fit more what a Nord would use, I would assume. So I got Restoration, Smithing, Two-Handed, One-Handed, and Light Armor. Yeah, you will be using both Two-Handed and One-Handed. Because I couldn't really choose between which one I wanted to use, and I think it would be okay to use both. For Restoration, I get the Avoid Death perk because I think it's pretty cool. Once a day, heal 250 points automatically if you fall below 10% health. It'll really help you, especially if you're melee rank, because you are melee, and if you get killed or hit a lot, it'll give you more health back pretty easily, and it's kind of cool like that. Then you got Smithing. You want to make sure you go up the light armor side of the tree because you'll be using light armor. If you want to use the Nordic weapons that I'll talk about later, make sure to get the Advanced Armors perk because that is the perk that allows you to create these weapons and increase them times 2. For Two-Handed, you'll be using a Battle Axe, so you want to make sure you get everything that goes with Battle Axes. And One-Handed, you'll be using Dual Wield, so make sure you get your Dual Wield perks in there. Light armor, I decided to use this instead of heavy armor, just because people gave feedback that said light armor is more towards Nord, and I kind of have to agree, especially since I believe that light armor is actually a raised skill level when you start the game as a Nord, so that's what I'm using here. So let's go ahead and talk about the weapon and armor that you'll be using for this build. Like I said, you'll be using Nordic weapons, which I use a battle axe and 2 war axes to pretty much kill all your enemies. You'll be using dual wield for one set with the one-handed, and then you have the two-handed set. And we'll talk about the gameplay a little bit later, why you would use 2 different ones. And for the armor, I actually use the Stormcloak Officer's Armor set. You don't have to be a Stormcloak if you don't want to. I would just say stay away from the Civil War since you're kind of afraid of war. But that's not really your thing. You don't really want to be a part of the war because you're so disappointed in yourself for all the things you did during the Great War. So let's go ahead and talk about the gameplay. So when you think about gameplay, this character, this True Nord, has a lot of like disappointing things that happened in his life previously, and now with the ability to be Dragonborn, he kind of wants to redeem himself for all the things that he's done in the past to kind of hurt people. So he wants to make sure everything is peaceful in Skyrim and wants Skyrim for the Nords, I guess you could say, and make everyone happy and peaceful. So that's what you gotta kind of your overall goal is doing, and you kind of want to stop the Civil War. You don't really want to choose one or the other side. You just kind of want to stop in general. But yeah, let's go ahead and go to the gameplay. There's one shot you'll be using for the one-handed that really helps, and it's Elemental Fury. Makes you swing your axes really fast, axes really fast, and you can kill people very easily. So this is very important with the one-handed. And the reason why I do one-handed is that the one-handed dual wield does a lot of damage very quickly. So being able to use this, you can like burst down a high-level target, maybe a dragon or something like that. And the two-handed is probably something I'll be using more often, but just to like slice and dice people because the power attacks are more powerful than the dual wield ones, and you don't really have to worry about powering someone down so quickly if you're just fighting regular bandits. So, like I said, we're going to go ahead and talk about these shouts now. We have the Elemental Flurry, which I talked about earlier, which makes your weapons swing faster as long as they're not enchanted. Then you have Ice Form, since it is a Nord and they have close relation with ice. Ice Form is really good. It especially knocks down, or it helps paralyze your enemies, so that way you can take down big groups of enemies at once. And then you have Redone. It's just a great shout. You can Redone people off cliffs. You can kill Lydia off of it by Redone her off the throat of the world, as you do. So yeah, and then one last thing I want to talk about is the standing stone. So when you first start the game, you probably want to get the warrior stone right when you start, but I usually pick up the lord stone because the lord stone is probably my favorite. It gives you 25 armor, I think, and it gives you magic assist. I'm not really sure of the stats at the moment because I can't remember, but it gives you armor and magic assist, so it's pretty cool. So hopefully you guys like this new and improved version of the True Nord. Kind of just give a little bit of a rundown. It's pretty much you're just a disgruntled war veteran trying to make peace for all the things you've done in your past, and you kind of want to make sure that everyone stays happy, and you would rather not kill a bunch of people. I wouldn't really call you pacifist. I would just say like you don't really want the civil war in your nation to keep going on, and you don't really want to pick sides either. You kind of just want to stay neutral and try to make peace in Skyrim, because I think that's what a True Nord would actually do. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys haven't already, check out these two videos here, and also make sure to check out the important announcement that I put out today about the builds for Skyrim. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and this is Clayton, signing out.